Hello, and welcome to Science Study Tutor. Learn science from very basics to advance, easily, clearly and interestingly. In this lesson, we will study about the discovery of cell from the topic Cell, the unit of life. We know that cell is the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Now we will study the series of events related to the discovery of cell. In 1665, English physicist Robert Hooke discovered and named the cell. Robert Hooke built a compound microscope by using two convex lenses which can magnify or enlarge objects up to 50 times. Robert Hooke observed very thin slices of bottle cork under his compound microscope. You might have seen a cork. Cork are used as bottle stoppers as shown in the picture. Cork is obtained from the outer bark of Quercus sabea plant or commonly known cork oak plant. Robert Hooke found multiple tiny pores in the thin slice of the bottle cork as shown in the picture that he named as cells. The word cell came from the Latin word cella, which means small rooms, like the monks lived in at that time, and also from the Latin word cellula, which means the six-sided cells of a honeycomb. Robert Hooke reported this observation in his book Micrographia. Robert Hooke actually saw dead and empty cell walls of the cork oak plant. Robert Hooke did not know the real structure or function of the cells. Robert Hooke was unable to see that there are other internal components or structures inside the cell, such as the nucleus and other organelles found in most living cells. In 1674, Dutch microscopist Anton van Leeuwenhoek discovered living cells for the first time. Anton van Leeuwenhoek was a professional lens maker. Leeuwenhoek built a microscope by using improved lens that could magnify or enlarge objects up to 270 times. When Leeuwenhoek observed saliva and water samples under the microscope, he found motile things such as protozoa and bacteria in the samples. Leeuwenhoek reported this finding to the Royal Society, and Leeuwenhoek stated that motility or movement is a quality of life, therefore these are living organisms. Leeuwenhoek named these as animalcules. The word animalcules came from the Latin word animalculum, which means tiny animals. Most of the animalcules are now referred as unicellular organisms. Leeuwenhoek also found red blood cells and sperm cells of animal and human being for the first time. Leeuwenhoek also found that in the fertilization process, the sperm cell needs to enter into the egg cell. This finding put an end to the previous theory of spontaneous generation. Spontaneous generation says that the living organism could arise from non-living matter. In 1831, Scottish botanist Robert Brown discovered and named the nucleus. Robert Brown was observing the cells of the orchid's flower's outer layer under the microscope. He found a constant, regular, and non-transparent component which is common in all the cells of the flower's outer layer. He named it as the areola or nucleus. Later on, the same was proved for animal cells also, that is, animal cell also contain nucleus. Robert Brown finally stated that all cells had a centrally positioned dense part, that is, the nucleus. In 1835, French zoologist Félix Dujardin stated that cells are not hollow or empty, rather, cells are filled with jelly-like or semi-fluid and structureless living substances. Dujardin named it as the sarcode. Its vitality made evident by its active streaming or flowing movements. In 1839, Czech anatomist and physiologist Purkinje renamed the sarcode as protoplasm, the first substance. Cells could no longer be imagined as empty because they contained living material or protoplasm. In 1838, German botanist Matthias Jakob Sleden, after examining a number of plants, suggested that plants are made of cells, that is, cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all plants. In 1839, German zoologist Theodor Schwann, after examining a number of animals, suggested that animals are made of cells, that is, cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all animals. In 1839, Matthias Jakob Sleden and Theodor Schwann compare their findings and stated that both plants and animals are made of cells. They together formulated the cell theory. The two statements of the cell theory are: 1. All living organisms are made of cells, and 2. Cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all living organisms. In 1855, German biologist Rudolf Virchow extended the cell theory by adding a new statement to the cell theory. Rudolf Virchow stated in Latin language that omnicellular e-cellular, which means new cells, arises from the pre-existing cells by cell division. It is also called as the cell lineage theory. In 1931, German physicist Ernst Röska and German electrical engineer Max Knoll built the first ever transmission electron microscope at the University of Berlin. It had a magnifying power of 400 times. By 1935, they had built another electron microscope with twice the resolution of a light microscope. It reveals previously unresolvable organelles inside the cell. Thank you for watching this video. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share, and subscribe.